Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a full face of first impressions. So I have two foundations. This is the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Full Coverage Foundation. And this is the Too Faced Do You Full Coverage Fresh Glow Foundation infused with juicy watermelon and fresh cucumber. I think what I'm gonna do is try this one first, which is the Makeup Revolution. I got mine in the shade 8.5, which I think is gonna be a little light for me. Yep, definitely gonna be light. It smells like straight up paint, honestly, but I don't mind. I'm gonna put that kind of in the areas that I want brighter or that I would normally highlight, and then I'm gonna take the Too Faced one, which has a cute little pump. It kind of reminds me of like kids makeup almost. And I'm just gonna take a pump of that. It's definitely a lot thicker than the Makeup Revolution one. And it smells like watermelon. What? That's awesome. Okay, so I'm just getting that onto my beauty blender. So I'm kind of going around the lighter areas first, just to get product on my face. And then I'm taking another pump of the Too Faced, and I'm gonna start blending out the Makeup Revolution. I mean, my skin looks amazing on camera, but if I get like this close, which like no one really is gonna get that close to me, I can see where the Makeup Revolution one is kind of clinging onto things. I don't know. Okay, so foundations, really like both of them. If you have very dry skin, I would maybe skip the Makeup Revolution one, but it is definitely medium to buildable full coverage. This one from Too Faced is awesome, and this is it on my hand rubbed in. It gives your skin such a nice glow, but it doesn't feel really heavy or sticky or tacky. It feels like I've just put moisturizer on my face. I'm using the CoverFX Power Play concealers. I have G Medium 1 and G Medium 2. Massive, like ball shaped doe foot applicator. It feels pretty thick going on, I'm not gonna lie to you, but what I love about CoverFX is their color range and their undertones are amazing. So I'm mixing 1 and 2. I don't know if there's such a significant difference to be doing this, but I figured I might as well. So I have 1 on top, 2 on the bottom. I always get product on my beauty blender before I start blending because that way it doesn't soak up the product that you've placed on your face. Wow, this is full coverage. And it blends out really nicely too. I'm not having issues with it feeling sticky or tacky as I'm blending it out. It's just kind of blending right into the skin. It looks like skin. It's flawless. It's a really good coverage, but it gives a nice glow. Like it doesn't make my under eyes or anything look creepy. Okay, so now we're gonna set our under eyes. This is from Bakerie. I had never tried Bakerie before, but I'm really excited to, and I have mine in the shade yellow. This is the Bakerie Flower Better Not Bitter. So before I apply it, I always like to blend out one more time right before I set my under eye. It's like you don't want to set creases, you know? Oh wow, that powder's dry. Wow. So the powder doesn't have any smell, but like as soon as I put it on, my under eyes felt really hydrated and now they feel like tight, which I know it's a powder and it is going to soak up some of the moisture, but like my Hourglass Mineral Veil Loose Powder doesn't do that. And I'm actually, instead of baking, just going to press this with my damp beauty blender into my whole under eye area. It definitely brightens, but like my under eyes look really, really dry and like crepey right now. I'm going to take these Nudestix face colors. This one is the all over face color in the shade Bondi Bay, and then this one is in Naughty and Spice. So both of these are like cream to powder finish. So I'm going to take Bondi Bay. I'm actually going to warm it up on the back of my hand. So that's the Bondi Bay color, which I prefer going in with like a lighter bronzer color and being able to build it up rather than getting stuck with like something that's too dark and then starts looking muddy. It's blending really evenly. It's giving me a nice color. They do have a darker shade, and I'm actually gonna try striping it and seeing what happens. Even though I don't really like striping stuff onto my face because I feel like when you stripe stuff, it's so much harder to blend out. And I'm just gonna pop it onto the Beauty Blender, dab it out, and then dab it onto the skin. I think you just have more control when you apply it like this. Just taking that on my nose, taking that, and actually on the forehead, I will just stripe it. And on the forehead, I'm actually gonna use my fingers because it has a silicone-y kind of slippery feel, which is why I think the fingers work so well. Pop a little onto my chin, and then we're gonna hit the double chin. Okay, now I'm gonna take Naughty and Spice, which is a really pretty rose color, and I actually am just going to take that onto my finger, dab it out onto the back of my hand, and then apply that onto the cheeks. My skin feels like there's something on it, but it doesn't feel heavy or greasy the way certain cream products do, and I really like the colors. I'm taking this Becca Be a Light palette. This is the light to medium face palette, and this is what it looks like inside. You get a bronzer, a blush, and like a face powder, like a highlight and normal skin tone kind of a shade. But according to your skin tone, you can use this however you want. So I'm taking my Eco Tools face brush, and I'm actually going to mix this shade and this shade to get a face powder color. And I'm just gonna tap that over everything pretty much that we did. I'm taking my e.l.f. blush brush and I'm gonna dip into both the colors, but adding a little couple extra taps into the lighter shade. That's a really pretty face powder. Like, your skin feels powdered but still feels hydrated. It's very, very glowy. And I'm trying to just layer it up to see if you ever look super powdery or chalky or cakey, but I'm really not finding that to be the case at all. Okay, so I'm taking this Sephora collection. This is the 55.5, but it's the mini version, and I'm going to go into the bronzer from this palette. I'm surprised I haven't heard more people talk about this. And actually, I have both shades. So it comes in light medium, but it also comes in medium to deep. So I'm gonna open the medium to deep and see if I can use the bronzer color in there to add some extra warmth. So this is what the medium deep looks like, and adding that to the skin. Yeah, that definitely is deeper. These almost feel like there is cream in them. I'm just gonna take that down onto my neck. I'm actually gonna take the darker face powder in this palette too and just buff that over. So I'm actually gonna dip into the blush from this palette. This is the light to medium. And I'm just gonna, wow, really pretty. Look at the amount of glow I get from that blush alone. So what I'm going to do is take the deeper palette and go in with the blush just over. I barely dipped into that with a stippling brush too. I have two different highlighters. This one is from Stellar Beauty. It's the Cosmic Face Luster in the shade Aurora. And I have the new Ofra All of the Lights highlighter. So I'm gonna go in with the Aurora powder from Stellar first. It's more like just a face coat glow. If you have deeper skin, they are going to show up as highlighters, but for someone like with my skin tone, that medium range, this is really pretty to put all over liberally onto the cheeks. You can put it onto the nose, you can blend it onto the forehead, and it's just going to give you an added boost of light. So this is the Ofra All of the Lights highlighter. Ofra highlighters are amazing. So I'm taking the same e.l.f. brush and actually just kind of dotting around the center and picking up that much. Like, do you see that? And I'm not going to drag that down onto the apples of my cheeks. I'm going to keep that right here. What's really nice about the Ofra highlighters that are like this too is that there's so many different colors, so you can really customize your highlighter. I am going to take a tiny bit, pop it on my nose, and then right in the center. I'm just gonna take a little bit of that and pop it onto my Cupid's bow. So now, good old Wayne Goss buffing technique. I'm going back into the light medium Becca palette and same Eco Tools brush that I used and buffing everything out. So I am just going to add a little more blush. I'm not putting any more product onto my brush actually, but I'm just taking the same brush and just hitting the apples of my cheeks and moving back. And then I am going back into the Ofra highlighter and just buffing out some extra highlight. Moving on to the eyes. Yeah, I need water. So for eyeshadow palettes, because there are so many palettes out right now that are brand new, I have two of the Huda Beauty Obsession palettes. This is Topaz Obsessions, then you have Ruby Obsessions, which is definitely what my entire vibe is with my hair right now. I also have the new Charlotte Tilbury Stars in Your Eyes palette. This is what the Charlotte Tilbury palette inside looks like. Very user-friendly. She sets her palettes up in trios, so technically like this is a look, this is a look, this is a look, and this is a look, but you can use them any way you want. And then we have the Kylie Jenner. This is the Peach Extended palette. What I don't like about these palettes is that they don't say what they are. On the back it just says Kylie Pressed Powder Palette. That's it. But this is what the Peach Extended palette looks like. And then also her Burgundy Extended palette. And then lastly, I have the Fenty Beauty. This is from the winter collection. It's the Kilowatt Foil Freestyle Highlighter palette for the smoky bronze look. This one is super pretty that I might use. But I wanted to just show you guys all these palettes. I don't know what I'll actually end up using, if I will end up using all of them. So I'm starting off with the Charlotte Tilbury, and I'm gonna go in with this shade from Love Eyes and this shade from Happy Eyes. They're just matte shades, and I'm gonna pop that into the crease. That is way more pigmented than I thought it was going to be. So I'm just taking that on a MAC 217 brush. So I actually am going to go back into the Becca powder palette in the medium to dark. And I'm going in with the bronzer color, and I'm going to put that in the crease. I want a transition color that is a little more just like a warm brown. I felt like that Charlotte Tilbury one, if I had kept building it up, would have looked more corally. And I don't really want coral. I don't actually know what I'm going for, if I'm being really honest. I'm just going for it, you know? We're living life on the edge. So now I think I'm gonna go in with the Kylie Peach Extended palette, and I'm using this shade right here, which is, I have no idea, guys. It's the bottom row, because I'm holding everything upside down so I don't blind you guys. Bottom row, this matte brown color all the way on the end. I cannot read the back of packets, fun fact, to save my life, because not every brand does it the exact same way, and like sometimes it's flipped, sometimes, and I'm just like, no. So I'm just gonna take that and pop that into my crease. I used to love the MAC 217, but dang, my eyeball is burning because that is scratchy as hell. I'm gonna go in with a Sigma small tapered E45 and just keep adding that color into my crease. Oh my god, what a difference. That's really wild. I'm going into the Kylie Burgundy palette, and I'm gonna use some of these mattes. Top row mattes, like 1, 2, 3, I think, and maybe this one right here. I know a lot of people like to use just one palette for a look, and a lot of times when I'm just day-to-day normal life makeup, I will do the same thing. But I figured that there are so many new palettes right now, and I feel like it's gotta be overwhelming. So it's really just about testing and trying. So for this video, I kind of wanted to pop in with a few just so you guys can see a couple of them in action. Now I think I'm gonna go in with maybe this shade and just start building it up. I like to hold the brush back here and just lightly circular motions, side swiping motions, but I'm not applying a lot of pressure. Like, you won't see my entire lid moving, because you don't want to be that rough with your lid, because hashtag aging. Topaz palette from Huda Beauty. I'm going to take the Sigma Concealer F70 brush, and I'm going into this shade right here, and I'm just going to press that onto my lid. The reason I'm using a concealer brush is that it almost mimics applying shadow with a finger, because a lot of times with metallic shades, using your finger is just going to give you a better payoff. These Huda Beauty Obsession palettes, do not sleep on them. You get 9 shades. They're beautiful. I actually am going to take my finger and just amp that up, and you guys will see the difference. Do you guys see what a difference using the finger makes versus the brush? The only thing is, if you have very long nails, it's not going to work out super great for you. Trust me, I know. Only downside to claws, besides tearing through clothes, because that's another thing that I used to do. RIP to all the underwears I have torn through while just trying to get you on, you know? So I'm dragging the shade down, because dragging it down is going to help smooth and almost like burst any metallic pieces that are there to give you a foiled finish. And then same thing, going in with a finger. I'm very much into this. Okay, so I'm taking the Sigma E45 brush that I was just using to blend out, and I'm just blending out the edges of that metallic shade. I actually am gonna go into this darker brown shade, and I'm gonna pop that really lightly into the outer corner and blend it up slightly, just to add a little more depth. And I'm still focusing it mostly right here, and then blending it up and over, but also out. So I do have a little bit of fallout right here, so I'm taking my e.l.f. blush brush that I used just for the under eye powder area, and I'm just gonna lightly dust that away. You can do that and it doesn't grab onto foundation because it's just sitting on top of the powder, so it dusts away really nicely. I am going to go into this Fenty Killawatt highlighter palette, and I'm going into this bronze shade, and I'm gonna layer that on top. So oomph, less oomph, oomph, less oomph. I'm a fan of that whole highlighter palette, for the record. I'm going in with my Rococo eyeliner from Marc Jacobs, but I'm just gonna take that and line right close to my lash line. I'm not worried about being incredibly precise, because I am going to take a pencil brush, or even like a concealer brush like this will do. This is from Cover FX, and I'm just gonna blend that out to create kind of a smudged out line. I'm just using small little strokes, and I'm just building up that outer corner so that I can create that wing. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love a good liquid liner, just like sharp, but I also really love a smudged outline. Plus, if you're not really used to doing eyeliner, I always tell people to try doing this instead, because you just have more control, because you're really just drawing on that line. It's all about building up the colors and layering and building and layering. So I'm going back into the Topaz palette on the exact same Cover FX brush. This is the Blemish Primer brush, by the way, but it just looks like a little concealer brush. And I'm actually going to dip in to both of these, the matte brown and the bronzer shade. So I'm going to lay in the matte brown first and just press that over the liner, because I just want to make it a little bit warmer, a little bit bronzier, and I'm just buffing that out. And I don't know if you guys can see, there is some shimmer in my liner. There's a little bit of the other eyeshadows, but I purposely blended it because I wanted it again to just look like a melting pot of bronzy goodness. I think I am gonna go in with that darker bronzer shade just a little bit, and I'm just gonna Blend that right over. I actually might go back in to the darker matte brown and just layer that over it, just to give it a little more definition than what's happening right now. So for the lower lash line, I'm just taking my E45 Sigma brush and I'm gonna go in with this shade again from the Peach palette. So I'm pretty much taking almost every shade that I put on my crease and I'm gonna blend that onto the lower lashes. So this is the Burgundy palette. I'm going into this shade right here, putting that in the lower lash. I'm bringing it all the way pretty much to the inner corner. And then I'm also blending it right here, so it kind of joins the rest of my top lid makeup. And I am going to take this color too, put that into kind of until halfway through the eye, like right here. I'm taking the brown shade here in the Topaz palette and I am just going to pop that in the outer, probably third to quarter. Now I'm taking that same concealer brush from Sigma, the E70, and I am going into probably a mixture actually of both of these, but I'm going to start out with the dark one and I'm going to smudge this into my lower lash line as well. Okay, and then I'm taking this brush with no extra product and just buffing out pretty much right here, like the outer half of the eye. So I'm taking the CoverFX Blemish Primer brush and I just wash it off with some It Cosmetics Brush Bath and taking the Ofra highlighter in All the Lights. I'm using these two more bronzy colors and I'm going to pop that into the inner corner. That is still too cool toned. I'm going to try this shade. It's the first row all the way in the corner. I just want something that's more gold. Yeah, that works. I always drag my inner corner highlight kind of up so that it's more of a blown out effect rather than just two dots. I'm taking this Sigma Performance Shader Crease E47 and I'm just blending that inner corner part all the way up to the brow bone. And then I am going to take that same color and hit the brow bone. So I'm taking my Kat Von D Signature Brow Pencil. This is in the shade Light Brown. And I'm just going to fill in my brows a little bit. I don't want anything too intense. And then I have my good old Benefit 24-Hour Brow Setter. Combing through. I'm taking the Marc Jacobs Fine Liner in Blacker. And I'm just pressing that into the lash line so you guys can tell a slight difference between this side and this side as far as definition, and then same thing on the other side. So for my lips, I'm using the Jeffree Star lip liner in Mannequin. But what's crazy about these is that it goes on so creamy and smooth, and then once it dries down, like it feels like nothing is there. But you do have to work with these kind of fast because they dry down real quick. And then on top, I'm going to take this L'Oreal Color Re-Shine in 657 Steal the Show. It's just a more nude color. I actually don't like this lip color at all. Like, this combo is not the one. I have been struggling for the last like 10 minutes about what to use because all the new stuff that I had in this packet are just too cool tone for what I want. So I'm taking the Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in Wherever Walnut and I am using that on the outer corners like that. And then in the center, I'm taking my Nudestix Bondi Bay. Actually, not even in the center. I'm just gonna go over everything with it. I'm going to add the slightest bit of this lip gloss and hope for the best. This is the Grin and Bear It from the Tutti Frutti Too Faced collection. That's it. That's all we're doing. That's all we're doing. We have the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist and then the Too Faced Do You Fresh Glow Setting Spray. That lip gloss feels really nice. It's not super, super glossy, but it feels very hydrating. This mist though, do you see that? Oh yeah, you can totally see that. And it smells like cucumber melon. Like, it's amazing. Wow, it really adds dew to the skin, huh? That's really pretty. Okay, and now I'm gonna try this Morphe Continuous Mist. It smells like a perfume. I like the way both of these make my skin look. If you don't like fragrance, you're not gonna like probably either one of these. Really like both of these. Very, very lightweight, but both are very hydrating. This one obviously is definitely more hydrating. Both of them help to melt everything down. I'm gonna powder my T-zone because I'm a little too hydrated looking, but I do really like this. I'm gonna go in with my powder brush and just hit the T-zone a little bit. I am going to slightly bump up my highlight, and I'm just dipping into the gold one on the Ofra. I'm gonna go in with this shade that I used for my inner corner and pop a little bit of that right on top, just so it gives you more of a golden glow. And then I'm just taking the bronzer brush that I used and buffing out the edges of that highlight. Lashes, so I'm basically just taking the Hourglass Caution mascara and lightly coating my upper lashes. So lashes are on. Really, really love these. These are the Trophy Wife lash. Super pretty. I did trim them down to fit my eyes. They're really comfortable. I love Lily lashes. I really, really do. I'm gonna go back in with the Hourglass mascara and really load up the lower lash mascara now. And that, friends, is the finished look. I really love the way this turned out. Pretty much every single thing in this video worked really well for me, and I'm a fan. The only thing that I would really probably not super suggest until I try it out more is the Beauty Bakerie flower, which is really disappointing because I wanted to love it so bad. But I believe that is a wrap on today's video. I really enjoyed filming this first impressions. Let me know in the comments down below, or leave me a thumbs up and let me know if you liked this video. I can definitely do tons more because I constantly have products that I'm testing out. So let me know, and if you want more, I will get on that ASAP. But until my next video, thank you guys as always so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you soon. Bye!